zeroed in on your head.
Despacito, play Country Road. I hate the face that you just made doing that.
Yeah. How deep are we now?
How
many days?
How deep is your love? You know that song?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're like a month in, right?
Yeah.
Because what is it now? It's oh my lord.
It's Saturday.
Yeah, it's Saturday, and Wednesday was the month.
And I moved in before that though, right?
Like 2 days before.
2 days before.
So it's been
like
30 days.
Yeah. That's a lot.
So it's been... Oh no, it's been...
No, it's 2 days and then 2 days after.
So 30 to like 32, 33-ish days.
So that's a lot.
Yeah.
5 weeks.
Yeah. You didn't clap.
So what are we going to put over it?
That scared me so much. Like my heart was like...
It'll be hard to sync up.
Oh, I don't really care. It's funny when it's not synced.
I know what we're going to do for that one. It's going to be good.
Right.
Yeah, you got a little something there. Nice.
Ciabatta.
So 5 weeks.
5.
What's changed between now and week 1?
I feel like we were having a lot more fun at the start. Right? It took us maybe like the first 3 weeks. It was like, yo, this is kind of cool. Like, I'm vibing with this shit. Like, heaps of time to make music, heaps of time to watch whatever we want, just chilling.
Yeah.
And then it was kind of like a sudden wall that we hit. That like, you were like, I miss people.
Yeah.
Like,
that's definitely the struggle, is that seeing people over FaceTime and talking to people on the phone is just not the same as going and hanging out and doing absolutely nothing with someone.
Yeah.
You just kind of miss that base level human contact.
And miss the variance of different people too, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's like we'd be hanging out heaps anyway, but like the variance of it being other people around as well. Like, yeah.
Just having a third party to bounce off of all the time.
Yeah.
Or like 5 people, and even interactions I used to hate before I now recognise as just baseline entertaining.
Yeah. Perspective.
For sure.
And
I'm sure
seabed.
it'll take like 2 weeks for me to forget what this feeling is like.
Oh, for sure. It'll be like a week, and then I'm like, yo, I want to go home.
I hate people again. I want to be
I'm
alone.
going to go lay down again and just sleep.
I'll be wanting to get back home to play Warzone, even though I hate it.
Yeah. I'll be that meme of when like all this is over, I'll walk outside in the sun, big stretch, and then turn around and come right back inside.
Yeah.
That's me.
For sure.
That's me.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't exactly know what changed. I think it's probably just a war of attrition against our own motivation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we used to get up. So we used to go to bed like around 10, get up at about...
Between 8 and 9?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And get straight into doing projects and things.
It would be like before lunch, it was like I was writing music, you were writing or whatever. Like we were actually doing stuff. And that was like the routine, and it was working.
We were even exercising together as well.
Yeah.
More consistently, I feel like, back then, because we were doing routine stuff.
Yeah, because everything was sort of, we'll do this, and then we'll have lunch, and then once we've had lunch, we're going to do this, and then...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tried doing more writing last night, and it was weird. Like, I've never before in my life just been so unmotivated to do a task ever. But there's just nothing like I literally just right now I put on music and then just scroll through TikTok for like 5 hours.
Yeah, I noticed that.
And that's just a task.
I noticed that. Yesterday you were on TikTok laying on the couch just chilling, and then I went and had like a 2-hour bath, and I came out and you hadn't moved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's just life now. But so we got we were supposed to finish on Thursday. Or Thursday was supposed to be the day that we dropped down.
Yeah.
No, it was supposed to be Friday. Was supposed to be when we leave because we got 2 days. So we were supposed to finish and go down to level 3 lockdown, which is like essential services open. Nothing changes for you and I.
No.
But we can expand our bubbles slightly.
Yeah.
But they decided to move it from we can leave on Friday to we can leave on Tuesday, so that we get 4 extra days of ISO but only 2 lost business days. And I was really excited for level 3 until I realised that level 3 doesn't change anything. No. And so we still get 2 weeks
at least
extra. And then even when we drop down to level 2, we don't go back to work. We won't be going back to work for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be a long wait for us to be back to actually like normal day-to-day, going to work, doing stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I feel like amongst kind of the entire country is we're going to be amongst the last people to be able to go back to our work.
Yeah.
Based on what we do. Because it's pure like interaction with lots of different people in lots of different places.
Yeah. Like being Mormons, that's just the nature of our job.
Yeah. As we're just door knocking, essentially.
Yeah.
Would you like to hear about consent?
Trying to raise money for animals and other charities.
Whoa, you really lost it.
Yeah.
You can't even think of jokes anymore.
Completely broke down. No, but it's not bad. It's just everything. It's just pause.
Yeah, it's just the longest pause possible.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough, okay, this feels like being injured.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, tearing my Achilles feels like
Do you want to give a full history?
A full history.
Of your injuries?
Like, everything that's been, like, a big one.
Yeah.
Okay, so first one would have been in high school when I face planted the concrete.
Mm-hmm.
And I, like, broke cheekbones and teeth.
Yeah.
And concussion and all that fun stuff. But that one, like, I was out for like a week and then I was all good. Obviously, my teeth were not just all good, but
yeah.
And then the next one would have been when I tore my left Achilles. So that was the first like major injury I've ever had, where it like kept me out of being able to do my normal life. So that's like that one was like a 12-month turnaround. And then I had a good time of it for a while, was healthy and stuff, and then last year torn meniscus in my right knee, which I had surgery on. That was maybe like 4 or 5 month turnaround. But I was able to walk after the surgery pretty quickly, so it was, all good. And then not long after that, so 5 months ago, I tore my right Achilles.
Which was hilarious. I was there for that one.
Yeah, real funny. Yeah, and so I'm still in that process. But it's coming along. But yeah, so the feeling of pause is what it's like. So someone like me who, a lot of what I do is playing sports and stuff. When you can't walk, it's like just a pause on your normal life.
Yeah.
And that's what this lockdown is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not the most fun. This is easier than the other times though, because I'm not by myself.
Yeah. Yeah, that definitely would help a lot.
Yeah, because it's hard when, like, I'm stuck doing nothing and then I know that everyone's still doing it.
Yeah. I mean, it does help that everyone's doing the same thing.
Yeah, that it's not like everyone's isolated, but everyone's isolated together, kind of.
Yeah.
In, like, the weirdest way. It's like, as a whole country, we're all keeping to ourselves, but because we're keeping to ourselves, it feels connected. It feels almost like, we're all on the same page, which is kind of cool as fuck.
Well, like, I appreciate that all of the memes that I see reflect so accurately all of my deepest thoughts. I saw one the other day this one chick just walking around the house going, you know that as soon as we get out of isolation, there's going to be some bitch who's come out super motivated, they lost pounds, and they're fluent in French, and they can just fuck off. And I'm like, yeah, because most days I'm like, I should be doing this, but I'm just not going to. And everyone's going to be like, everyone's kind of picked up a half hobby, and they'll be able to flaunt that really well, and everyone's going to think, fuck, they're like amazing at this now.
Yeah, I feel like...
And I realize there's going to be a lot of insecurities about how people spent their isolation.
I think what needs to happen is a real like message of it's okay if you didn't do anything.
Oh my God, yes.
Like, it's okay if you didn't learn to speak Spanish. It's okay if you didn't, exercise every day and get shredded. Like, that's okay. You don't have to have been productive. Some people will be, and good for them, those fuckers.
Yeah.
But
I feel like it needs to be said more that, like, it is survival at this stage. Like, the feeling and the vibe that I'm at right now is that anything I do now is utter survival. I go to bed when I go to bed because I want it to be tomorrow. And even though nothing will change tomorrow, and it won't change for weeks, it's one day closer. And it's literally what drives me to go to sleep.
It's like when you're a kid and you're counting down till Christmas.
Yeah.
Except we don't know the exact date when things will be normal.
Exactly.
And it's not excitement.
Yeah.
It's like, holy shit.
It's running a marathon but not knowing your end line.
Holy shit. It's like starting the marathon and not knowing that you...
Which one you signed up for.
And you don't know if you're running 12, 24 or 42 Ks.
Yeah.
What a nightmare.
And we're all running 100.
No wonder I feel like shit.
Yeah, it's great, right?
How good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But oh well.
Oh well.
It is what it is.
It is.
I think it's just going to be a series of like 3 or 4 day cycles of like the good days are going to be days that are most similar to when we were motivated, but nowhere near.
It's never going to be that same kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Well, this morning I woke up feeling really good in comparison to the last week.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but I don't know. I just feel heaps like better.
Well, we were out of bed at around 10, right?
Yeah.
So that's something.
I woke up and I was like, yo, I don't feel like garbage.
Yeah.
How good.
It's probably because in my mind, it's because we exercised the last 2 days.
My exercise yesterday was pretty rubbish.
Still went though.
Yeah.
I know. I think one thing that's going to be a major adjustment afterwards is, like, at the moment we had a work conference Zoom call that was like half an hour
at 10 a.m.
At 10 a.m. and that was my entire day. Like, I went to bed the night before thinking I've got a task tomorrow. Woke up, did the task, and that was my entire thing. Like, my level for what counts as an achievement is plummeted.
Yeah.
And I feel like I used to have a really good work ethic, and it's just like been chipped away at.
I never had a good one, so
yeah.
Yeah. I guess it, like, once things go back to normal, it's gonna be really hard to get through a whole day.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna be like like schools, like students at schools. It's gonna be they hit 1 o'clock and they're done.
For us, I think the advantage that you and I have working in schools is that we can relate to the kids by being as fed up with it. I mean, I'm always sick of being there with them, and there's going to be new levels. And
yeah, we're there to do a task, but we don't necessarily have to be like teach them Pythagoras.
Yeah.
Or teach them about genomes or whatever. Like, we're in there to talk about whatever comes up.
Honestly, I feel like we'll have more to work with because they would have been stuck.
Yeah, I feel like there's going to be a really good understanding about stress around regulating emotions, and
we're going to be able to talk about it.
Yeah,
ISO.
I feel like we have to. Like, a huge chunk of what we do will be that.
Yeah,
is talking about post ISO what happens now. How do you kind of deal?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be really good, especially because we can relate. Because holy fuck,
I'm right there with you. Yeah. But no, I totally agree. I don't think it's something that's said often enough to people, is that it's like totally okay to be doing absolutely nothing at all.
Yeah. Well, because you go on Instagram and you see all these people and they're posting their workouts and they're going, look, I'm watching these documentaries to better myself and all this shit. I'm like, that's awesome, but like the reality of it is for most people that's not what this is.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, it's okay to do fucking nothing.
Do you know actually something Noel said that pissed me off?
Okay.
Noel Miller. It's like in one of the podcasts like 3 weeks ago. He was complaining. It's probably definitely out of context because I zone in and out when I'm listening to it. But when he was talking, he was saying that he was pissed off or annoyed that all of a sudden now that people have all this free time, they're stepping into areas that they're like not supposed to be in. Like what we're doing right now, like making podcasts and trying to do stuff.
Okay.
Rather than sticking to the things that they usually do. And it's like,
we can't.
What do you expect us to do?
Yeah, no.
Like this is the only time I'll never get another chance in my life to just sit around.
Yeah. I disagree with that pretty strongly.
I disagree with that
because that's the
strongly.
classic stay in your lane kind of mentality, and I never agree with that.
Which is a bunch of shit.
I never agree with that mentality ever. The whole point is to try new shit that you don't normally do.
Yeah.
Like even when it's not ISO, just during normal life, that's encouraged.
It's so interesting hearing that from you. Because I know that you think that way, but also...
I don't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I genuinely think that way, but I also struggle to do it.
Fair.
Yeah.
Well, that was how you and I first met, right? That was so good.
Tell the story.
All right, so we met. We were doing a course about. You were like leading a training.
Yeah.
For a helpline.
Yeah.
Right.
So you were training to be on the helpline, and I was one of the trainers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were doing the session about how to just on anxiety, right?
Correct.
And you opened up with like. We had to do an activity about what anxiety is like for us.
Yeah. So it's different for everyone, and it was like you talk about how it feels for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it was interesting because you and I have such polarizing opinions on how anxiety works.
Yeah. Well, it's not really opinions; it's just different experiences, right? Because it's not like we disagree with each other at all.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
just that our experiences of it are very different.
And I feel like we perceive it differently.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. Because like for me, anxiety is like a call to action. Like always. If I'm anxious about something, it's just my mind recognizing that whatever it is, it's important, and I need to do something.
Yeah.
Rather than hesitate.
Yeah, mine. Yeah. Whereas mine is, if I'm anxious about something, I'm like, that's an issue. I need to step away from that.
Yeah.
And keep myself away because I'm going to get more anxious.
Which is wild.
Which is because the example that I use, which I thought was a really good one, because everyone can sort of understand it, is my example of it is dealing with your own anxiety. Is I was talking about doing a presentation in front of people, which is what I was doing at the time.
Yeah.
And I brought it back to that by saying, yeah, I'm anxious about doing this type of thing, even though this is my job. It still makes me anxious. But the way I deal with it is to avoid the planning stage.
Yeah.
I don't think about it. I turn up on the day and I do it. No PowerPoint, no notes, just do it.
And you did it on that presentation too. And it was an amazing one.
Thank you.
And it was hilarious as well. I just remember walking out of it enjoying it.
Yeah.
Because I was in university at the time.
Yeah.
Working on a presentation, which I crushed.
Yeah.
And I over-planned for.
Yeah.
And I was genuinely boggled, like, how did you do that?
Yeah. And that's just how I've always dealt with it. As long as it's a bit like, I've only ever done presentations on topics I know. I feel like that's the thing you have to have. You got to have like a baseline understanding of what you're talking about, of course.
Yeah.
But it just, I don't know, it comes across, I guess it comes across a lot more natural. Like, I'm not going to be like academic with that type of presentation because I'm not reading off of notes. I'm not like studying. But it just helps me do it like really fluidly.
Yeah.
Because I used to be really bad at presentations and public speaking.
Was this like high school?
Yeah.
It's because no one's good at presentations in high school.
That's not true.
Oh, no, so yeah, we talked about this a bit, yeah.
Yeah, that some people were really good at it. Some people were natural.
What made them good at it?
Confidence. But also it was preached. I was too young to figure out my own way to work. And it was preached to us that the key to doing a good presentation or a good speech is to plan, practice.
Which I don't think is true.
Which is, it's for some people, for sure. But I feel like what needs to be talked about more is, instead of telling someone how to do something, encourage them to find their own way to do it.
Yeah.
What works, for you?
I reckon the way that the schooling system fails, like if we're just talking about speeches specifically as well, is that the marking criteria is too specific, whereas it should just be student gives a 4-minute presentation on topic.
Yeah.
And then you judge that entirely based on, did they do a good job and what was good?
Yeah.
And just...
Was it boring or was it not boring? I feel like those types of things as well. Like, was it engaging?
But even then, like, that will change between people. I think it should just be, rather than mark it and say you got it 82%, you just say, you did a good job, I liked these bits, and that's all it is.
Well, I mean, because, interesting, in high school, we only did speeches and stuff before 5th form or year 11. So it was never easy, like a big, like, achieving, getting achieved merit excellence and stuff.
Yeah.
So there's no point.
Oh, no, you do seminars in year 12, year 13, if you get there. Level 3 English is...
I didn't do...
Yeah, there are seminars in level 3 English, so it's 10-minute speech.
Yeah, I stopped after level 2 because fuck that.
Yeah. I don't know why I did it.
If you're listening, Miss Simmons, fuck you.
Yeah, same with Chris. Oh, well. But no, I actually had the classic meme of the political leaning girl with the glasses and the borderline blue hair versus the toxic year 14. So that's person who didn't finish year 13 and stayed back to repeat the last year of high school. Absolute piece of shit, like 0% worthy opinion on anything. Doing the same topic on feminism.
How good.
It was so fun because she had she was the epitome of plan to succeed and she knew her shit.
Yeah.
She was doing English because she was good at it. Like she was good at the style that you're taught to learn and do English in high school.
Yeah.
And he wasn't. He didn't turn up to the class where he had to choose his topic, so I think he just defaulted to it. And he did it. He just did it live.
Hey.
And it was horrible because he was like before her on the same day. And it just blew up in his face.
Perfect.
But that story doesn't go anywhere other than
That's
I've
funny.
lived that archetype.
Yeah.
That meme.
Yeah. And we're back. Yeah.
Oh, actually, that won't work because the sound from that ding wouldn't have actually turned up.
Ciabatta.
Yep. Yeah. So we watched Afterlife, right? The Ricky Gervais show.
Watched the first season because the second season came out yesterday.
How long's the first season? It's like 4 episodes or
I think
something?
it was like 6.
20 minutes?
25-ish, yeah.
It was good. It was really funny.
Yeah.
What is it about?
Well, like, I don't know. It's about a dude whose wife died and he's trying to cope.
But it's not even just a dude. It's Ricky Gervais's humour.
Yeah.
And pessimism.
His dark humour, but then also his ability to write characters who are arseholes, but you really like.
Yeah.
You really want them to do well.
Because, like, he doesn't write characters that are arseholes for the sake of being arseholes. He always writes a really grounded human character.
Yeah, and there's always real emotion involved. Like, It's crazy that Ricky Gervais is seen as, this comedian who just makes fun of people like, all the time. Yeah, all the TV shows he's ever written are, like, some of the most human shows I've ever seen.
Well, I think he gets away with his, like, Oscar speeches, or was it Grammy... whatever the speeches,
Golden Globes?
The Golden Globes. I think he gets away with his Golden Globe hosting is because, like, he goes over the line, but he goes over the line in a way that he kind of says what everyone's thinking.
Yeah.
Like, he understands people so well.
Yeah. Yeah, and he just gets it. It feels like he just gets it.
Yeah.
Plus, he's just funny as fuck.
Yeah.
But Like, I know that, like, you can understand how much I love that show.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that is my humour. That is, like, me.
Yeah. Well, I think you and I are biased into liking that show because our humour does lean that way. It's our humour's really dark.
Yeah.
And he doesn't kind of shy away from a lot of the jokes. His character,
He doesn't shy away at all.
His character gets as close as you can to murdering someone without technically murdering someone.
Yeah.
But that wouldn't hold up in court, what he does in the show.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I don't hate his character.
No.
Because he paints the whole scenario in a way that you can kind of understand.
You understand what's happening to him.
Why people make the decisions they do.
Yeah.
It's wild.
It's such a good show. Like, I've never had a show where you're on such different ends of the spectrum so quickly in terms of having it be real funny and then sad as fuck.
Yeah.
Like, jumping between those so seamlessly.
Yeah.
Like, it goes so quick. It's wild.
I think there's a lot of elements to that show that are they're funny because how I like, for example, the therapist, the counselor. I like his character because it's clearly not what a counselor would do.
Yeah.
But only in the sense that everything that he does, everything that his character is a basic mistake that a counselor shouldn't do.
Yeah.
And what they've done is they've just got a whole lot of people who have had like that experience and that experience, and they just mash them all together
into one person.
So to get to like combine his character is impossible in real life, but everything that he does is totally real.
Yeah. Yeah, all the little things he does as like a counsellor that are awful are real complaints people have had about counsellors.
Well, should we pick them all apart, the ones we can remember?
Oh, yeah.
So, I like the one where he's on his phone.
When he's just, yeah.
Yeah, because you can totally imagine someone like just checking the time.
Yeah.
Like something that the counsellor themselves wouldn't think is wrong, but to someone who's like pouring their heart out and then you're talking to someone, they check their phone.
Yeah.
You're like, the fuck?
Then when he mentions another client.
Yeah, he discloses information from another client. That's like giant red flag.
Yeah. Talks about himself a lot, like his own life and his own problems.
But not even in a way that's like
helpful,
trying to be relatable. He does it in a way that's like, but I've got it worse.
Yeah.
He tries to, and so first of all, talking about himself, big no-no, but also having the mentality of it could be worse, I feel like is super dangerous as a counsellor.
Oh, it's the opposite to what a counsellor should do.
Yeah.
Just everything he does is fucked. Just his whole he just seems really smug as well.
Yeah, I've talked about this recently, where I often get the impression, and this is because I was going to be a counsellor, I wanted to be one, and I jumped out of it because a lot of the people that I found in that field, it felt like they used their knowledge, their like theory knowledge, and their studying university knowledge to make them kind of superior.
Okay.
Like it's classic psych student syndrome where you do a 101 course and you feel like you can read people's minds.
Yeah.
And the more you dive into their hole, you just meet more people that just feel superior.
Okay.
Which I think is crap.
For sure.
I'm going to turn the light on. I know, what did you think of the counsellor character?
I thought he was absolute garbage.
Shine, man.
He was like the worst possible therapist or counsellor that you could hope for.
Yeah.
And that's why it was funny.
Yeah. For sure.
In like a real fucked up way. It's like if you were like really struggling and you went to see a counsellor and this is the dude you got, like holy shit.
You'd be so pissed. No, I feel like you and I kind of like his character a lot because it's so intimately related to what we do. I feel like that show, we live that life. Like we live so many lines of that life that every single beat of the plot is just like, oh yeah. I know, I get that.
Yeah, I feel that.
I feel that.
Yeah.
But, no, and I feel like that show paints a really bad picture of what therapy's like, though. Of what a good counsellor is like.
Yeah, I guess I guess like the angle they're going from is they've gone for humor, and like in the sense that this is the worst therapist possible. But a lot of people won't see that. They'll just see it as, oh, is that what therapy's like?
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, counselling and therapy can be anything.
Unrelated, and we can jump back to the counselling bit, but I feel like Afterlife is what the plot to Joker is if they were actually going for realistic. And someone who's not... It's someone who's not necessarily mentally ill. Because the Joker's like... someone who's mentally ill, hating society, and society beating down on them. But Afterlife is a dude, just a regular person, kind of going through a thing.
Going through the worst possible thing.
And he just doesn't... He happens to not accidentally start a movement. I feel like the Afterlife and Joker have a lot of parallels, weirdly enough.
In a sense, yeah, I can see that.
But rather than being dark for the sake of being dark, it's dark for the sake of
being
humour.
Real. It's dark for the sake of being real as well.
Yeah.
Like, if you ever talk to someone who's severely depressed, like, they'll say the shit that he was talking about.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's so on point. But yeah, good times.
Yeah. But, what does make a good counsellor, Matt?
Whoa. Sorry, what?
Someone with a big dick.
Rules us out.
Well, that's why I stopped being a counsellor.
You were never a counsellor.
Yeah, that's why I stopped being a professional counsellor.
Fucking spanner. I don't know. It's different for everyone. I feel like that's kind of the point of counselling is figuring out what type of counsellor that you're after, someone you click with.
Do you think someone would like the counsellor from that show?
Fuck no. No one would.
Someone who just treats them like garbage.
But I feel like there's people who would go and see him and not know that that's not okay.
Yeah.
I feel like the most important thing with counselling is you need it needs to be working for you.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you like the person, they're really nice, but if the counselling isn't working for you, find someone else.
I think it's amazing.
And if you talk to your counsellor about that, almost every counsellor would be more than happy to help you find someone who fits.
Yeah.
That's generally what they're like.
I feel like, you know how people always make the argument that school never teaches you anything that's real? Mm-hmm. One of the things that school should teach you is how taxes work.
Yeah.
And the other thing they should teach you is how good counselling works. Like that, in my mind, that fits in the things that school should teach you, but it's just kind of expected that you know it.
Yeah.
Is what good counselling looks like.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what good counselling looks like. Well, for me, it looks very different than for someone else, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, but I don't even mean counselling as in getting a professional counsellor. I mean what good counsel
what good support looks like.
Exactly.
Yeah. Whether that's professional or not. Just what does support actually look like?
And I think the reason why schools don't teach it is because so many teachers do a shit job at supporting students.
I feel like there's so many teachers don't know what support looks like.
Yeah. Well, that's why I feel like a lot of people don't know what good support looks like.
Yeah, for sure.
That's
where we come in. Yeah, it is total.
Yeah. Nah, I feel like that show does a good job at painting, showing you exactly what not to do.
Yeah.
In that sense.
Yeah.
And not even the counsellor, but his brother-in-law as well. He says so many times, like, what is it, when he takes him to the comedy club and he's like, I'm trying to help you.
Yeah, I'm trying to make you happy.
And it's like, cool, man, I don't give a fuck what you're trying to do because it's not what works for me.
But it's also like, the brother-in-law character's awesome.
Yeah, he is.
He's so awesome
because
he's trying.
He's trying.
He's giving a shit.
He says to him somebody, like, a lot of things that they don't show in the show how big it would be, but the fact that he lets him walk in and out whenever he wants and do the work that he wants. And
yeah. But then also, when things go too far, he puts his fucking foot down and says, that's not okay.
Yeah. That's
also what people need.
Yeah.
When you're in that type of bad space, is you also need that stopping point when someone tells you, pull your fucking
head in.
Stop being such a numpty.
Yeah.
That's way too far.
Yeah.
And then that's why that character is so good, because he doesn't always do the right things, but no one will always do the right things. Like in real life, when you're trying to help someone, you'll never do all the right steps. It's impossible. but the point is trying.
Yeah.
And that's what he did. And the guy's a G.
Yeah.
Guy's a G. Same with his friend.
Yeah, the very first time we're introduced to him, they show that
Ricky Gervais is just ragging on the dude.
Absolutely taking the piss out of him.
Yeah. Like, not like to the point that you're like, whoa.
And then as soon as Ricky leaves the room and the new girl asks if he's okay with that, he just says, oh, it helps him cope.
Yeah.
So, like, the guy knows exactly what Ricky's doing. Yeah. He understands. And
it's awesome, man. It's just like, it's passive kind of support.
Well, I think the show does a good job at showing how people, the way that they help is really flawed, but it's so authentic.
Yeah.
Like, they don't pretend to try and help or go out of their character to help in ways that they wouldn't normally. They just kind of, they'd be a rock to ground that person in.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Which is cool.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And how, like, the characters that aren't so close to him, like that chick in the office who comes over and asks really dumb questions, she doesn't all of a sudden start, like, reaching out and talking to him every night and all that stuff. She just goes, well, I'm just going to do my thing.
I'm just going to ask you the dumb questions like I normally do.
I'm just going to be normal.
Which for her is weird.
Well, yeah.
Because her normal's fucking weird.
But her not changing makes the world normal for him.
Yeah, which comes to a really important point is not treating people like they're broken.
Yeah.
Or like they're a fragile thing.
Yeah.
Like, even when, the worst shit's happened to him, like, it's fucked. Mm-hmm. But still treating him like, he's still the same dude.
Yeah.
That's super important.
He's just going through a thing.
Yeah, he's going through a really fucking tough time. And acknowledging that, but still treating him like you normally would.
Yeah.
I think it's super important.
Mm-hmm. And even the conversations that they have about religion almost every day shows that, like, even in the state that he's in, they'll still disagree with him. They're not just saying yes to everything. Like, they let him get away with a whole lot of shit, but they're not just being complete pushovers around him.
Yeah.
Just being normal, being themselves.
Yeah, it's just an unbelievably real type of show.
Yeah.
Like, just paints that shit so well.
Mm.
How good.
It's good. It's really good. I'm actually excited for season 2.
I'm down.
To see how well it goes. The one thing I didn't like is that the theme and the tone and the music of the last episode painted the picture of I'm fixed. All of a sudden, like, after a conversation, even though he does say that he's not.
Yeah.
But it just felt like that was the message.
They went a bit far with that, but it was like a kind of something clicked.
Yeah.
For him. It's not that he's fixed. It's just something clicked into the right place.
What was the thing? Was it just like because he found out that the brother-in-law is going through like a divorce or something?
I think it was perspective. Yeah, as he got perspective that all these other people are dealing with stuff as well.
He's going through a shit time, but everyone's going through a shit time, and that doesn't take away from what he's feeling. It just means that if he's constantly putting shit on other people. They can't help him forever.
Yeah, and sometimes things just fucking click.
Yeah. Just time.
Yeah.
No, it's a good show.
I'm about it.
Very real.
I'm about it.
I feel like we watched something else the other day that wasn't real. Complete shit, right? Unfriended.
Dark Web.
The Dark Web, which I think is a sequel.
Yeah. It also might be the worst movie I've ever enjoyed.
I, probably in the half an hour mark, decided that my phone was far more interesting. And so whenever I zoned back into that film, I was so confused.
Oh, ask me anything. I watched that shit, like,
How'd they make the van so quiet at the end?
Oh. I don't know. There was no audio on that camera, so it's hard to say.
No, but there is, because you hear the sound of the crash and the car screech to a halt. You just don't hear it approach.
Details.
Spoiler alert. The character's sitting in an empty
parking lot. They all die.
Well, they all die. The whole film is shot from the perspective of people's webcams.
Yeah. Yeah, and which is a very creative idea. But
they exist in the John Wick spy world where everyone's an assassin killer with super high-tech skills. Everyone's a hacker man.
And they're such hackermens that to the point of when they come on a camera, the camera goes all blurry. Like they can't even be
generally.
They can't
generally,
even be
when I come on a camera, it does go blurry. If I'm being real, in my experience.
Yeah, does that make you a hacker man?
Yeah, I'm a hacker man.
That when you come on a camera.
Yeah, generally.
Yeah.
So I don't want to speak for you, but I think what you're trying to say is when they're on screen, their outline has gone all glitchy, like they're being censored in real time.
Yeah, well, it's like how a vampire can't be seen in a reflection.
Yeah, hacker men can't be seen
on camera. Because they're such hacker men's.
And like the way that the film, because I'm not sure, I haven't seen the first one, but I think when the first film
I don't know if anyone
out,
has.
I think when the first film came out, it was supposed to be like it's a ghost haunting the laptop, and it haunts the Skype call, like a person that's dead join, and these guys are like 13 reasons why them, and their ghost joins the call and kills them one by one, whereas this one is a group of hacker dark web
underground baddies who do snuff films,
plant a laptop for someone to find,
and then they fuck with them,
and then everyone in the group call on their game night they kill slowly. But you kind of are led to believe that, like, is it a ghost on the thing in the call? Because like it's all like Hades and the bridge and stuff, and you're like, is this like?
No, it's nothing. It's just.
It's just hacker men.
Yeah, it's just hacker men from the dark web.
Yeah.
Who are bored.
Yeah.
That's kind of what happens at the end, because they're like, why are you doing this? And they're like, oh, it's game night.
But it sounds like the least realistic film, though, when you get to the person who gets swatted and he doesn't get on the ground. Because I know very little.
American, yeah.
I know very little about American police, other than you just don't fuck with them. They're like,
if they tell you to do something, you just kind of.
American police are just like people from they're police from third world countries.
Their finger is on the trigger
all the time.
Yeah.
Whereas in New Zealand, you need to get a permit to get a taser out of the lockup.
Well, there's only one in the whole country.
There's only one in the. I went to a police station tour.
It's in Wellington at the moment, so if someone in Auckland needs to get tased, it's going to be like a 3-day wait.
Yeah. So they need to get a permit to ask them politely not to.
Yeah. And you need them, and you have to get them to sign as well, like consent to laying down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember. So I went to a police station as a kid, and so like we saw the cell, and they're like, yeah, people we get put in here, we take their clothes and we put them in like jumpsuits so they can't hurt themselves and stuff, and then we're like. They take us to the weapons cabinet, and I shit you not, it was a whole room, and there was racks where like you would have guns, and there was one yellow taser, just a pistol taser hung up on the thing, and then like a spare cartridge lying on the ground, and then all of the rest of it was just like vests and like
sticks,
cameras, like radios, and shit like that, like all the support kit. And stuff so they could like juggernaut up, but weapons wise they had like a baton, a taser.
Yeah, and you know how we're making fun of that right now? I love it.
Yeah,
I love that that's what our police are, because it's so good.
Yeah,
makes our country so good.
Well, you had a run-in with the police the other day, right?
I did.
And how'd it go?
It was interesting.
So full context.
Okay. I went to the park to have a run.
And right now we're on level 4.
We're on level 4, so it's sort of complete lockdown.
So the idea is you're only allowed to leave for an essential errand, like you're supposed to only leave your house if you leave in a car to go to the supermarket and come back, or go to the doctor's and come back. Mm-hmm. Except we're allowed to exercise. We're allowed to leave and walk around the block. That's encouraged, and we're allowed to do it.
Or walk to the park and do like a lap of the field.
But you can't touch any playground equipment, things like that.
Yeah. So I was sitting on the grass stretching, and they drove past, stopped, got out of the car, and came over and told me I wasn't allowed to be at the park.
To which you said?
Which I flat out just was like, yes, I can.
Yeah.
And then they said, well, you can't touch any of the like equipment, like the actual playground stuff. And I was like, do you see me touching it?
Yeah.
And then there was and then they told me that I didn't need to have that type of attitude and stuff. And then I just told them I can speak however I want, and that I was allowed to be there. Yeah. And then I put my headphones back on and carried on. Yeah. So to paint more of a picture as well, the park that we're talking about is a cricket pitch. I went to the other park.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but again,
that one like 3 rugby fields.
It's like a rugby field, essentially.
So like a giant fuck off field of grass.
Yeah,
and then in one corner,
there's
kid's
a
playground.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same. It's just smaller is the one that I was at.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I was sitting on the grass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which we're allowed to do.
Yeah.
But I find it interesting how you get people. In my mind, it's people that aren't as on isolation as we are, not being able to empathise with what it's like, how important it is to leave the house.
Yeah, and how huge the feeling is of having fresh air and sun.
Yeah.
And grass. But, like, I understand what the police are doing in terms of they're making sure, which I can respect for sure, but it's just the way that they approach me.
Yeah, because they're doing it without... they've got zero understanding of what it feels like.
Yeah, why not just come and have a conversation instead of just question me instantly? Like, I would have no issues at all if they just came and had a conversation.
Well, because...
And then just sort of casually pointed out, just reminding, hey, you can't be on this, this, and this. I'd be like, yeah, cool as.
That's why I think that story right there interests me, because every interaction I've ever had with New Zealand police has always been a conversation where I either walk past them on the street or I walk up to approach them like on a night out and we're like super drunk and we just chat for the sake of having a conversation.
Yeah, this was my first ever interaction with police that wasn't positive.
Yeah, where they set out to almost punish straight away.
Yeah, whereas they came out like with the wrong type of, I don't know.
Whereas usually policemen just feel like people.
Yeah, they're just dudes in the uniform. That's kind of how the police is here.
Or dudes or ladies.
Dudes or...
Police women.
Police... Women's.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's usually the vibe of it. They're just normal people and they're just
sometimes
chatting.
A bit bored looking for a conversation.
Yeah. Unless you do something wrong, then obviously...
Even then, like, they're super chill.
Yeah, they're still super respectful, generally. Well, from our experiences.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are people who have had very different experiences.
Yeah.
And I know there are, because I've talked to some of them at schools and stuff, but... Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just found it quite interesting how it was handled.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Plus, I have an unhealthy dislike for authority.
Yeah. Just
naturally, which I fully admit isn't the healthiest or best thing, but it is.
Yeah.
So whenever, like, when there's an authority figure who tries to push their authority on me, that's when I have an issue.
For no valid, for a valid reason, but that reason's been stretched.
Yeah.
Beyond reason.
Yeah, and that's where my issue came from. Like, I don't have a problem with authority just as they are. I have a problem when people of authority try to flex that authority.
Mm.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, that's New Zealand police.
And that's Matt, the felon.
Yeah, piece of shit.
Mm-hmm.
How many times have you been arrested?
20.
Epic games.
Epic games. No.
Never.
Never been close.
Yeah.
That's the closest I've ever been. And that wasn't even close.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, no. Just not a thing.
Did you actually think of a topic beforehand?
No.
Mm.
How wild. Oh.
It's like 40.
I
don't know if I have anything else to say.
You always have something to say.
Yeah, but I forgot. Nothing that's worthy of broadcasting.
I mean, is anything we've said worthy of broadcasting?
No. But the only thing new in my life is that I bought alcohol.
Yeah.
To make times pass faster.
That's a story. I drank alcohol for the first time in years.
Oh, yeah. How'd that go?
It was fine.
It was okay.
Yeah.
You didn't drink to get drunk. I
just was like, I'll have one.
You just had some.
Yeah, and I drank it aggressively slowly.
To lower your blood pressure a fraction was about it.
Yeah. It was fine. It wasn't life-changing or anything.
Yeah.
Didn't change anything, but yeah. That was a fun story.
Yes. Worthy of broadcasting.
Yeah.
No, I feel like, yeah. It's long days.
Yeah, speaking of that, like, each day in of itself feels really long, right?
Yes and no.
Like while you're in it. That's kind of how I feel. Is my vibe is it feels long when I'm in it, but looking back at the last month, it feels like it's gone fast.
Oh, yeah. I think...
So in the moment, it feels like it's dragging. But looking back, I'm like, holy shit, it's been a month?
9 a.m. to 11 a.m. goes fast. 11 until like 5 is very slow. And that time where it's like 10 p.m. till 2 a.m. goes fast. Because that's usually like when I go to bed and put some music in and just scroll through the internet. And just like have as many sensory inputs as I possibly can at any time.
That's a good way to try and go to sleep.
Well, it's not even necessarily about going to sleep, because 2 a.m. is like the time now that I've set. My body clock responds to that. But at the moment now, like I can't just sit on a couch and do a task now. Like I have to sit on a couch and I'll have so many things playing at the same time. I'll have my earbuds in like constantly. Even when I'm talking to you, I've got music in.
I know, it's rude.
Yeah. But I need my attention to be stretched as thin as possible. Because like any spare gap gets dedicated to counting minutes during the day kind of thing, you know?
You're really fucking struggling, aren't you?
Oh, it's been a long time.
Yeah, well, I mean, you've been in it for 2 weeks longer than me, so technically.
Yeah. But there is good news. There is a ray of sunshine.
Is it me?
No. Well, yeah, no. So you were the ray of sunshine for the first
instantly.
half.
No.
But, okay, so the good thing is about you and I not being able to work is that we don't have to go back into the office to do anything. Because our job requires that we be out of the office.
Yeah.
And we can't go to the places that we need to be. Because we don't have anywhere to work, I don't need to live in the city that we work in, so I can move back home with my parents for a while. So it means I'm gonna have a change up.
Yeah, you're gonna change your scenery.
Yeah, and so like even though we're on lockdowns, you can apply to get a travel permit that'll let you go between regions. So I'm gonna be moving at some point in the next like week or two from here back home, which the internet will be a lot more shit. And I love my parents, but the company won't be as compatible because I feel like you and I are clones.
Yeah, for better or worse.
But the idea of having that change, even though like I'll still be on isolation, I'll still be on quarantine.
But just any change is
any
welcome.
change is just like, holy shit.
Yeah.
A new pool of people that I can be around in person is wild. Which is what I thought level 3 was going to be, where we can start adding one or two more people in our bubble.
We can, yeah. That's kind of what they said. You can extend your bubble slightly.
But then, like, I've been talking to people, and that's not the mentality that people have over level 3 is not that.
Good.
Everyone I know is like, everyone knows that you can make your bubble bigger,
but they're not good.
No one wants to.
Yeah. Yeah, like, I really want to go see my nan, but I also don't.
Yeah. People want to see friends, but they also don't.
Yeah.
And our Prime Minister has, you said in the last poll, like an 88% approval rating.
Which is insane.
Because she just keeps us on lock.
She's an absolute fucking G.
Yeah. And it seems to be that everyone's in that mindset of, we'll just stay like this.
Yeah, we want this to be better. We want this to work.
Yeah. We can't.
Cool.
Well, I guess that's it.
That's it?
Because the camera just turned off.
That's it. Oh, I'm waving at the camera. Fuck.
Wave at the microphone.